Black girl asked to give up VIP seat. One call to CEO dad, entire crew fired. The first-class cabin fell silent the moment the flight attendant's smile turned cold. Miss, I'm going to have to ask you to move. Amara Johnson blinked, her fingers still wrapped around the edge of her boarding pass. The soft hum of the aircraft, the gentle clink of glasses, the quiet luxury of the VIP cabin, everything seemed to pause as every nearby passenger subtly leaned in. I'm sorry, she asked, her voice calm but confused. The attendant's smile tightened. This seat is needed for another passenger. We can relocate you to economy. Amara glanced down at her ticket again. Seat 2A, first class, paid in full, confirmed twice. I believe there's been a mistake, she said politely. Behind the attendant, a sharply dressed man in an expensive gray suit shifted impatiently. His watch gleamed under the cabin lights. He didn't even look at Amara directly. There's no mistake, the attendant replied, her tone firmer now. We'll make sure you're comfortable in another seat. A few passengers exchanged glances. Someone cleared their throat. No one spoke. Amara slowly stood up. At 24, she had learned how to read a room faster than most. And right now, the message was loud and clear. You don't belong here. Still, she forced a small smile. I booked this seat weeks ago. The man behind the attendant finally stepped forward. Look, he said casually, as if discussing something trivial, I have an important meeting. I need that seat. Amara met his eyes. And I don't. He smirked. I doubt it. A ripple of discomfort moved through the cabin. The attendant stepped in quickly. Sir, please, miss, we don't want to delay the flight. If you could just cooperate. Amara inhaled slowly. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. Grace under pressure, baby. Always. I am cooperating, she said softly. I'm just asking for what I paid for. The attendant's patience snapped. You're being difficult. The word hung in the air. Difficult. Amara felt it settle deep in her chest. Not as anger, but as something heavier. Something familiar. She looked around the cabin. Faces turned away, eyes suddenly interested in phones, magazines, anything but her. Except one. An older woman across the aisle watched her carefully, her expression unreadable. Amara straightened her shoulders. Can I speak to the supervisor? She asked. The attendant hesitated. The man in the suit sighed loudly. This is ridiculous. Sir, please, the attendant murmured to him, then turned back to Amara. I am the senior crew member here. Then I'd like to speak to someone above you. The attendant's jaw tightened. There isn't anyone. Amara nodded slowly. All right, she said. She reached into her bag. For a brief moment, the tension shifted. Curiosity replaced discomfort. Was she pulling out a complaint form? A phone to record? Something else? Instead, she pulled out her phone and unlocked it calmly. The man in the suit chuckled under his breath. Oh great, are we doing this now? Amara didn't respond. She scrolled through her contacts and tapped a name. The phone rang once, twice, then, hey, sweetheart. Her father's voice was warm, relaxed, completely unaware of the storm unfolding 30,000 feet in the air. Hi, Dad, Amara said gently. Are you busy? For you, never. What's going on? She glanced at the attendant, who now looked mildly irritated, and slightly uneasy. I'm on flight 782 to New York, Amara said. There seems to be a seating issue. There was a pause on the other end. A seating issue, her father repeated, his tone sharpening just slightly. Explain. Amara kept her voice even. I purchased a first-class ticket, seat 2A. I've been asked to move to economy because another passenger wants my seat. Silence. Not the casual kind. The kind that meant something had just shifted. Put the crew member on the phone, her father said quietly. Amara looked at the attendant. He'd like to speak with you. The attendant hesitated, then forced a polite smile. I'm afraid we can't. It's regarding a formal complaint, Amara added calmly. That did it. With a reluctant sigh, the attendant took the phone. Yes, hello, this is. She stopped. Her face drained of color. The confident posture she had held moments ago crumbled instantly. Her shoulders stiffened. Her eyes widened. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. A few passengers leaned closer. The man in the suit frowned. What is it? The attendant turned away slightly, her voice dropping to a whisper. Yes, sir, I understand. Of course, immediately. She handed the phone back to Amara as if it were suddenly too heavy to hold. Dad, Amara said. I'm still here, he replied. Stay where you are. I wasn't planning on moving. Good. She could almost hear the faint edge of a smile in his voice. The call ended. The cabin was silent again, but this time, it felt different. The attendant cleared her throat. Miss Johnson, there seems to have been a misunderstanding. Amara raised an eyebrow slightly. Oh, yes, your seat is, of course, yours. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience. The man in the suit stepped forward. What's going on? The attendant turned to him, her tone now carefully neutral. Sir, we'll need to find you another seat. His expression darkened. Excuse me, I'm afraid seat 2A is not available. You just said. I apologize for the confusion. This is absurd, he snapped. Do you know who I am? A quiet voice from across the aisle spoke up. Do you know who she is? All eyes turned to the older woman. She smiled faintly. Because I have a feeling you don't. The man scoffed. And why should I care? The woman leaned back in her seat. Because sometimes the person you dismiss is the one holding all the power. The cabin door suddenly opened. Two individuals in airline executive uniforms stepped inside, their presence immediate and commanding. Every crew member straightened. Good afternoon, one of them said, his voice calm but firm. We need a moment. The attendant's face paled further. The executives approached Amara directly. Miss Johnson, one of them said, we sincerely apologize for your experience. Amara nodded politely. Thank you. We've reviewed the situation, he continued. And we're taking immediate action. Behind them, the man in the suit shifted uneasily. What's happening? No one answered him. The second executive turned to the crew. We'll handle things from here. The attendant looked like she might faint. Within minutes, the atmosphere of the cabin had completely transformed. The quiet arrogance that had filled the space earlier was gone, replaced by something else, something heavier. Accountability. The man in the suit was escorted away, his protests growing quieter as he disappeared behind the curtain. The attendant and two other crew members were asked to step off the plane. No drama, no shouting, just quiet, decisive action. Amara remained seated, still, composed, but inside, her heart raced. Not from victory, from something else. The older woman across the aisle caught her eye again. You handled that beautifully, she said. Amara smiled softly. I just made a phone call. No, the woman replied. You showed dignity when it would have been easier to react. Amara looked down at her hands. I almost didn't, she admitted. The woman nodded. That's what makes it matter. A few minutes later, the executives returned. Miss Johnson, one said, we'd like to offer you our personal assurance that this will not happen again. I appreciate that, she said. And, if there's anything we can do to make your flight more comfortable. Amara paused. Then she glanced toward the back of the plane. Actually, she said, there is something. The executive leaned in slightly. Of course, there's a woman in economy, Amara said. Traveling alone with two kids. They looked exhausted during boarding. The executive blinked. I see. If there are any available seats up here, Amara continued, I'd like them to have them. The executive studied her for a moment. Then he smiled. Consider it done. Amara leaned back in her seat as the plane finally began to move. The tension had dissolved, replaced by a quiet hum of something lighter. Relief. A few rows back, the older woman watched her with a knowing smile. And somewhere behind the curtain, a tired mother and her children were being welcomed into a space they never expected to see. Amara closed her eyes for a moment. Not because everything had been resolved, but because, in a world that often tested her patience, her strength, her worth, she had chosen kindness anyway.